right, the first step of the process has been completed. The washing of the valves. The next step will be drying the valves off. That way it'll be a nice dry surface so we can start working on them. So the next step of the process would be checking to see if any of these valves have any tags on them. Whenever we send out the valves after completed, they'll have a tag on them, ensuring that they've been through our process and have the asset tracker tags on them so they can be located in the company's inventory. So I'm just gonna do a quick check. All right, so none of these have tags, so they're gonna get the full process. They're gonna get fully recerted. We'll start off by grinding spots on the valves so we can put our NFC tags and also locating the serial numbers on the valves to put into the asset tracker. So on each piece, depending on the manufacturer, the serial number will be located in different places. This is a SMI 3-inch low torque valve. And with this, I know that the serial number is going to be right here on the side, right by the greaser. So I'll start off by grinding. So this is the serial number for this piece, indicating that this is the part that goes with this serial number. And I'll also grind a spot for my NFC tag. Now, when I grind a spot for my NFC tag, I put it in the spot where it'd be most protected, which is normally underneath the grease zerk. So if it does fall, tip over, it'll be caught by this grease zerk, stood up, protecting that NFC tag. So these are the NFC tags. They're used to store all of the information of the asset in it. By touching your phone, you'll be able to go to the website based on the company that you're with and locate each asset and to see if it's insert, out of cert, in date, out of date. It'll tell you what the asset is based off of type and based off of how much pressure it can hold. We'll wipe off the spot that we just grinded, getting all that dirt and paint off of it so that the NFC will stick properly. So we'll just wipe it off, place it in the spot that we just grinded, make sure it's secure. Okay, now with this epoxy, one is the resin, one is the hardener. You mix them both to create a nice seal around that NFC tag so it won't go anywhere. Now when you're putting the epoxy on, you want to make sure to cover all of the edges. That way it's not easily peeled off, or if it does get hit, it will stay in place. So the next step when working with these valves, it'll be removing all of the bands that are already on there. If you can see based off of these bands, they're out of cert. We're gonna give them new bands based off of the month that it is now. And now we will start to intake the asset. So when intaking the asset, some of these companies have their own asset trackers. This will be for PSI. They don't have their own asset tracker yet, so we're gonna use other asset tracker. It will take you to the home page, scan your assets, intake your assets, intake accessories, inspect assets, consign assets, scan assets to edit, and also you can view all of your assets, your packages, and a dashboard. You can also see and manage your customers. What we're gonna be doing here is intaking the assets. So we'll select intake the asset. When you're intaking the asset, you're adding it into your asset tracker, basically adding this piece into your inventory. With this, you're able to view it, see what it is, and see all the aspects and details of the asset. You'll see here, it's gonna give you a generic asset tracker ID. From this point, we'll take that ID and we'll put it on the part. So the asset tracker ID that was given was CWT, so we'll take that and we'll write it right here. Next step would be entering in the asset serial number, which is what we grinded earlier. So we'll enter that in here. This is the screen where you're gonna insert all the details, asset types, actuation sizes, pressure that it can hold, service, construction, and also the manufacturer into it, so you'll know what type of piece this is. We'll select choose a file and we'll take a picture of this asset. After you select to take the picture, you'll press OK to finish, and then you'll submit everything that you've just done. So now that this piece is submitted and into the system, we'll write an NFC tag for it. And this is why we inserted this tag here, so we can write all the information that we just did on it. So with this, it's already here on the bottom, so you can just select it. Now when you write your NFC tag, we have it in here. It'll be one single asset. You can also do a batch, and with the batch you can do all of them at once, but we're gonna be doing single today. You're gonna select the company that you're working with the asset tracker, and now you're gonna enter in the asset tracker ID, which is CWT. We'll write this NFC tag here. To write the NFC tag, you'll just walk up to the tag with your phone and place it right over. Once you place it right over it, you'll hear a ding on the phone, ensuring that the asset tracker and tag have been written. So to come back and check yourself, you can take your phone after it is written, hold it up to it, and now you can come back and see everything that you just did with it. So here on the screen, you have the asset details, and you'll also have a picture that we just took, and all that is in this NFC tag. So whenever you're doing your UTs, what you're doing is you're checking the thickness of the metal and the material. With this, it also shows if something is wrong with it before we go in and visual, it'll be noticed here on this UT meter. We'll start off by putting our batch number for this. Now, whenever you UT, you're gonna UT 4 spots on the inlet and outlet or your female and male subs. I will UT it. The next step of the process would be visualing. I'll just turn our valve like this so we can see both sides of the valve. Whenever we're doing our inspections in the phone on our Provident Shopflow, this is the home page, you'll select Shopflow. But what we're gonna be doing, we're gonna go to Manage Job, add this asset into the job, and we'll go to Add Asset. Once you select that, it will prompt you to open the scanner. So you'll open the scanner here, and you'll press Scan NFC. We'll take our phone, we'll scan it, and you can see here that that asset tracker ID that we just did for this piece is now in the asset tracker. It'll take you to this screen where it says asset added to job, is there a band on it? We just removed the band because it was out of cert, so we're gonna select no. If it does have a band, you'll select yes, and it'll be already recerted, and you'll just do a post job on it. But for this, we're doing a full recert, so we'll inspect the asset. Now with this, I'll take my flashlight. I'll look inside the valve. I'll see if there's any washing, any pitting, anything that will fail the valve out. This valve looks pretty good. We'll look on this side. All right, so we have slight shouldering here and just erosional wear throughout the valve and slight pitting. We have ratings for our visual. We'll select 2. We'll insert our visual inspection comments here. All right, so here you'll take the UT batch that we just used, and this is where we'll put it. So it'll be 628. We'll save and close, and now this asset is in this package. Next step would be grinding, wire wheeling, putting in Wecos into it so it'll be sealed. The next step of the process, when we're working with valves, we always want to grease them and test them to make sure they're still working. And if they're not working, we'll rebuild them and we'll tag them in the test bay to ensure that they do get rebuilt, and then we'll test them again to make sure they work. So to start this process, we have our valve stand, which is used to hold the valves to not only grease them, but also test them. So we'll start this process by loading our valves. So the next step, after you have all of your valves loaded onto your valve rack, we'll be using the grease barrels and the grease pumps to actuate and grease the valves. So what you're listening to the actuation of this pump here, and you can hear, like, as it builds up, it'll start off fast, and as you're listening to it, you're waiting for it to slow down. What I like to look for inside is that you can see the grease coming out of that plug here in the middle, and I want it to show that it's coming out of both sides, so I know that it's evenly greased. You don't want too much coming out of there, because I mean, at that point you're just over greasing it, but about right there is kind of what you're going for. So it's not dry and you can see the grease coming from both sides. This is where we do all of our testing. In here, the testing ranges from 2K all the way up to 15, based on what you're testing, whether it be 206 all the way up to 1502. But we're gonna test these valves, and then after we finish testing these valves, I will be showing you how to use pressure testing system on the asset tracker and in our Shopflow. We'll grab one of our testing caps, we'll take it off, put it onto our valve stand. Now we'll use our testing hose. So what this allows you to do is to flow through the manifold, through the hose, into the valves so they can get up to the 10K bar that we need. So we'll connect these two. Now we'll start off by filling our plug valves with our low pressure tank, which is right over here. So when you start up, you want to close all of your needle valves, and the only one you would want to have open is what you're working on here. You want that to fill. Now what you're trying to do with this low pressure pump is you're trying to alleviate and lose all of the air that is in the test to make the test run smoothly. To do that, you have to shake your valve stand, moving all of that water and air up to the top, as you can hear here. And so as you're shaking it, I'll shake ever so often, and I'm just letting that air build. You'll see here that you're gonna have all these bubbles, and all that is air building up through the water as it bubbles out. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get this from being bubbly and from it looking like milk for it to be flowing clear. Now you can see here that at the beginning of the process, bubbles were just coming out. Now all of that air that was pumping through here, through the line, is starting to leave out. We're gonna do this process 2 times. That way we can ensure that all the air is out. We'll close this valve because this just allows it to flow through so we can do our low pressure. Now we'll set up our Risotto for testing. This is our Risotto software. With this is how we test. And this way you can see the graphs, the charts, and see the pressure scale and how long and it holds the pressure. So to start up, we have our template here. We'll select our pressure, our temperature, and we'll go to report setup. From here, this allows you to put in your customer information, what test object information you have here, and also the properties, basically who's it been tested by. And here on this extra information, we'll put our serial numbers. That way you'll know what pieces have been tested. So we'll start up our test now. You can see here, this is the chart basically charting the amount of bar that we're allowing in this test. See, it's going up now. What we're looking for in the bar, to get to 10K, your bar needs to be 689 bar. So we're gonna test up until that point, and then we'll shut it off once it reaches that point. We'll let it hold for 3 minutes, and then we'll bleed off on the whole test. So this one right here is leaking. This one's gonna be sent to rebuild, which I'll show you how to send this asset itself to rebuild after we finish this testing complete. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and bleed off. The reason we bleed off is because all that pressure built up in those valves, if you go to open them, all the water that's in there will be on you. So we're gonna bleed off from here first. So I'll bleed off from here. I'm gonna go back and look at my gauge to see if I'm below 50 bar, which I am. I'm back at 12, so now it's safe for me to hammer it. So whenever you're testing and this happens, what you're gonna do is you're gonna cap this one off. But after you cap it, you'll open it up. That way it won't mess with anything on your test. So after your test, just like when we inspected the valves, we'll go here to our Provident Shopflow. So you'll go to Manage Job, and from Manage Job, we'll select the job that we're working on, which is their Enduring 367. What we're gonna be using here right now is pressure. So with the pressure, you're able to select the status of the pressure, whether it be pass, fail, or rebuild. I'm gonna start off by doing our pass first. So you'll select your pass, and you'll select your NFC scan. You'll open your scanner. After you open your scanner, it will prompt you to select one of these. We're gonna select the scan NFCs, and we're gonna scan all of the NFC tags on the valves that pass. So it's going to be everything that's not marked other than this yellow one that's marked for rebuild. So you'll just take your phone, you'll scan all of your NFCs. From this point, after you get all of the pass valves scanned, you'll select finish. After you select finish, one way that you'll know that this is the pass screen is this green behind it. That always indicates that it is the pass screen. But it'll also show you each valve that you scan, give you a nice little picture, the asset tracker IDs, and also what it is that you're looking at. We'll submit this pressure test. After the pressure test is submitted, we'll go back over to our computer. This will send an email to your computer with the serial numbers. That way you can add them on to your test so you know which assets did pass the test. Just like when you selected here on your pressure, you'll do it again to select your rebuild assets. But instead of pressing pass, you'll press rebuild, you'll press open scanner, and then you'll just scan this one for rebuild. After that one is scanned, you'll select finish, then you'll select submit rebuilds. So what this will do in the system, it'll change it from pass to rebuild. We're looking at the CWV, so we'll select this one here. And you can see here that this one has been marked for rebuild. So it will not have a green on the pressure. It won't have a green until you rebuild it, test it, and then make sure the test is passed. Now these are ready to paint, and we're going to move over to start our rebuild. We'll remove our plug valve. While we're removing it, we'll be looking at it to see if it has any washing. It looks like we have some washing here and some shouldering. Next step, after you clean it, is to wire wheel it. Whenever you're wire wheeling, you're going to go for the carbon buildup around these sealing surfaces here, here, and here, and also the body.
In this video, we'll walk through how to mark an asset for rebuild and complete the rebuild workflow. If an asset needs to be rebuilt, the first step is to mark it for rebuild. To do this, click the pressure icon. Scan the asset's NFC tag. Next, click the rebuild icon to begin specifying the rebuild details. Here, fill out the following information: the type of rebuild being performed, the repair kit that was used, a second set of eyes check, any notes that should be included, and finally, upload an image of the rebuilt asset. When everything looks good, click Submit. The asset is now officially marked as rebuilt and updated in the system.